Hello and welcome to GP Bullhound's Tech Thoughts. Today's the 17th of December, and we are here with Inge Heydorn and Nejla-Selma for our weekly market roundup. Today, they will be covering news in the software, semis, and gaming sectors. Over to them.
Yes, and before we started sending live now, Maria asked me about the market, and what can I say? It's up and it's down, and it's up and it's down. Sadly enough, it's more down than up, and I think it's two things. Main thing is the interest rates coming up and the tightening and the tapering, and on top of that, you have the worries about that we are stuck in a bad place with Omicron and inflation and maybe slower growth. So that's not good ingredients for the market. So for the moment, we are still thinking in a sell-off mode. So we'll see here in the coming weeks and going into January, which is normally a very, very strong month. Going over the software sector, I think it's very, very interesting things happening now. I think there are two things going on which you should separate about. Firstly, the market is very, very strong in digital, and you can see that in the fact that you can see numbers coming out from Accenture yesterday, very, very strong, upgrading the guidance on the top line because of the digital transformation. So the stock is up 9%. Okay, the other side of the coin, Adobe down 10% on numbers, which were good, but not good enough. So what's going on here? The digital transformation is really happening while we have a slight negative year-on-year growth effect due to COVID. So let's put this in context. The PC market. What happened last year is that when we got locked in, everybody went out and bought Chromebooks for their kids to be able to go into Google Classroom and work. So the demand for PC went up quite dramatically, driven by Google Chromebooks. That's not really the case anymore. That's coming down. So we have negative growth in Chromebooks, while we have high-end PC demands going up in demand because of the digital transformation, also the long-term view that we need good PCs at home to enable to work. So I would say this is exactly the same thing is happening in the software side. So we have some slowdown due to the COVID effects, meaning that the run out and buy now thing happening in video collaboration tools and so on, that is slowing down because we're not in that necessary to get it tomorrow. And on the other hand, we have a long-term view on the digital transformation that people need to be able to work from anywhere. So that spending is increasing. So to put that in context, the underlying market is very, very strong and healthy. And if anything, I would say accelerating. But we have a small negative effect on the COVID side in some companies like DocuSign, Adobe, and so on. While more structural cases like Salesforce, ServiceNow, I think the demand is very, very healthy, and Workday and so on. Next thing, the semiconductor industry. Looking at the semiconductor industry, we've been saying this over and over again. This is not the short-term blip. The problem on the demand side will continue for a number of quarters from here on, maybe even into 2023. On the lower end, so the trailing edge, on the car side, you could say it's improving. Yes, it is, but by two reasons. Firstly, we're adding capacity, but also we have a low volumes coming out now. So we are at a low point in production. Look at the numbers in Europe for November, 8-year-old low in terms of sales. So the number of products coming out is also very, very low, although demand is here. But in conclusion, the semiconductor industry will have shortage problems even in 2022. In trailing edge, on leading edge 22, and probably in 23 also. So there's no short-term fix. So on the gaming side, and handing over to Nejla.
Thank you, Inge. Okay, so the Nintendo Switch was the best-selling console in November 2021. Sales were driven by a record-breaking Black Friday. More than 1 million units have been sold for the week ending December 4th. The Switch has now sold an estimated 98.12 million units lifetime. However, Switch sales compared to the same week a year ago are down by approximately 5%. And I mean, Nintendo continues to dominate the market, and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl has remained in the first place on the retail charts in Japan with sales of over 130,000 units. Going over to the mobile gaming side, a record-breaking 8 mobile games, including PUBG Mobile and Honor of Kings from Tencent and Genshin Impact from MiHoYo, have generated more than $1 billion globally from the App Store and Google Play so far in 2021. Also, according to estimates, European retail app downloads will reach 187 million in Q1 2022. Since downloads for the top retail apps have grown in 2021, user adoption also increased by 15% in the first 10 months of 2021. So the data forecasts that the European retail app installs will continue to trend upwards. So this is all for today, and thank you. See you next week.